I was alive, but not living. Breathing, but suffocating. Walking, but going nowhere. They say the grave is where dreams go to die. But for some of us, the grave starts early. It doesn't wait for your last breath. It starts the moment you believe you can't change. The moment you trade your vision for survival. The moment you accept the life they hand you instead of the life you deserve. For me, it started young. The streets were my teacher, and every lesson was survival, day to day, lie to lie, hustle to hustle. I thought I was winning. I thought I was sharp. But the truth? I was dying inside, piece by piece, hope by hope. I was burying myself. I told myself it was the world's fault. I told myself I had no choice. And maybe, in some ways, that was true. But what I didn't see was that I was digging my own grave right alongside them. Then came prison. And you might think that's the end of the road. The nail in the coffin. The final chapter. That's what I thought too. I thought my life was over. But looking back, prison was the first time I was forced to stop running. The first time I had to sit in silence with myself. And that silence was loud. I had nothing. No freedom. No comfort. No distractions. Just four walls and time more than I knew what to do with. And in that time, I made a choice. I refused to die before my death. I refused to let my story end in a cell. I refused to be remembered as nothing more than a number in the system. I refused to let them win not over my life, and not over my mind. So I dug. Not with my hands, with my mind. I dug through words, through ideas, through histories they never wanted me to know. I started with the dictionary, copying it word for word. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't easy. But every page was another breath back into my soul. Slowly, I began to understand that the real chains were never on my wrists. They were on my mind. And with each new word, with each new idea, I was unlocking them. I read about nations I never knew existed, leaders whose names they never taught us, revolutions they tried to erase from history. I saw my people in a new light, not as slaves, but as kings, queens, warriors, builders of civilizations. When you know who you are, they can't bury you. When you know your worth, they can't break you. And when you have purpose, they can't kill you not truly. You see, there are two kinds of deaths. The one where your heart stops beating, and the one where your spirit stops fighting. The second one is the real danger. And I had already been halfway there. But knowledge was my resurrection. I didn't just learn facts. I learned how to think, how to question, how to challenge every lie they'd ever fed me. I stopped accepting the version of the world they wanted me to see, and I started seeing it for what it really was. And the truth is, when you awaken, when you start asking dangerous questions, the world will try to bury you again. Not with dirt this time, but with doubt, with fear, with lies, with ridicule. But I had already been buried once, and I had grown in the dark. They tried to bury me, but I was a seed. And seeds grow in silence. Seeds grow under pressure. Seeds grow when nobody sees them. And one day, they break through the surface. One day, they see the Sunday. So if you feel like you're buried right now, if the world has pressed you into the ground with its weight, I want you to understand something. You're not dead. You're planted. And there's a difference. Use the darkness. Use the silence. Let it strengthen your roots. Let it force you to dig deeper than you ever thought you could. Because when you rise, and you will rise, you will be unshakable. I was alive, but not living. Now I live every day knowing I was given a second life. A life I fought for. A life I built with my own mind. And I will never go back to the grave they had waiting for me. You are not dead. You are planted. Grow. Refuse to die before your death. Refuse to be buried under lies and fear. Take back your mind, and the rest will follow.